You know, most people think of Baker and they think of the 1920s, and they think of the African-American exodus to Paris after World War I. They think of her stage performances, and they think, chiefly, if not primarily, of the banana skirt, which she was famous for wearing. But she was incredibly active in the civil rights movement, but in a very particular way. She was thinking very clearly about what sorts of political activities were allowed to adult black women at this particular moment in time. And there were very few. She's getting older. She's not able to maintain her stage performance. She can no longer dance as she once did. And the world has sort of moved on from its desire to see black women dance topless with a banana skirt. She seems to have had a political interest in bringing together children of different races under one roof and trotting them out publicly as a kind of civil rights initiative. She's questing for a multiracial family to represent all of the races of the world. To do that, she needs to define what the races of the world are in very concrete and not abstract terms. But then she also has to find children to represent those particular types. And that search is confusing and challenging and difficult, and it forces her to alter over time what precisely she meant by race, what colors of the rainbow could be represented in a family, and where she might find them. She can say what she says, which is that I'm pulling together a family to represent the various races of the world, to make a statement about human equality and diversity, but it's hard for people to get their heads around the public display aspect. She sets this family in what is essentially an amusement park and charges admission for people to come and watch the children play. Up to a certain point, everything worked as if it was the execution of a script. And in public, the children would act like well-rehearsed actors. As they get older, that gets harder to maintain. As any parent will tell you, it's hard to get a child beyond a certain age, one child, let alone 12, to do what you want them to do. But oftentimes it seems like the whole notion of parenting and guidance just failed. There's a way in which the whole enterprise isn't set up to be a family, so it's set up to be something else. So when the children become teenagers and the family becomes diminished in terms of its grandeur and in terms of its public relations quality, and Baker is called upon to actively parent the children, it's an unmanageable enterprise. It's everyone's in a role they've never been in before, and it falls apart. The thing about adopting a family and creating them as a kind of political enterprise is that you can't drop them when the world changes around you. You're obligated, for good reasons, I think, to sort of stick with them and try to raise them to adulthood. And the world had changed around her by the late 1960s and early 1970s. I mean, it was a weird thing, and its moment did pass, and yet that moment comes back, it seems to me. We have a lot of complex identifications these days, and a lot of overlapping situational identities these days. And so Baker's notion that race is performance, her notion of the family as a complete and total fabrication, seemed incredibly current and incredibly fresh and relevant.
Dans mon village, 5 tout petits enfants